Go Jackets.
What is going on, everyone, and welcome to WreckTalk. So, I've done several hours of live shows kind of talking about this game, but I wanted to make a video kind of recapping my thoughts. Really tough loss. Not what I expected, but I can't say that I'm surprised. So, I'll just kind of give my general thoughts on the game, and then we'll go look at some clips of the game and kind of see what went wrong. So that's what our goal is today, to answer, what happened, what went wrong, why, and what do we have to do to improve. So the first most glaring thing, sky is blue, water is wet. Georgia Tech defense just couldn't really do diddly poo squat against Boston College, and it's frustrating. Man, it is frustrating being a Georgia Tech fan this year. We come out, first game of the year, we don't know exactly how good that team is. We're playing at the time. Turned out they're a pretty darn good team. Get up big at half, and then lose, give up a big lead. And we think, okay, well, maybe there's some mentality issues, mindset. We won't let that happen again. Play Ole Miss. With Ole Miss, it just seemed like we got gunned down by a more talented team. Turns out they're a one-loss team, only lost to Alabama. Okay, 2 losses that aren't the worst losses in the world. Go on the road to Wake, a game that I predicted us to lose in the preseason, and defense looks infinitely better. Where we had tons and tons of missed tackling problems. I think we had 8 sacks against Wake Forest, 4 coming from Kennard, plus 4 turnover margin, but still comes down to the wire. So we're kind of what am I trying to say? Cautiously optimistic. And then Bowling Green happens, and we get blown out by a horrible group of 5 team, give up 38 unanswered. So bad that we demote Andrew Thacker, promote Kevin Shear. Something that I was critical of at the time, and I'm still a little bit critical of. We're going to look today, when we look at these clips, I don't think, let me say it this way, there are some coaching issues. When you run 10 out on the field, multiple downs, you got a problem. But I think first and foremost, we have a personnel issue. We need 2 edge rushers, and we need 2 linebackers. The absence of A.C. Lee, Charlie Thomas, and Keon White are oh so evident this year. But we kind of threw our hands up and said that's it after Bowling Green. And then Miami happens. Our third 3-touchdown underdog victory on the road with Brent Key. It's like, okay, maybe I was 100% wrong about this move to defensive coordinator. Maybe our defense is improving week over week. Then I put out the video that Miami was tipping their plays. And it's like, ooh, I don't know. That's a pretty big advantage to have on defense. Maybe that was a fluky type win. And even with that, it still came down to them refusing to do the no-brainer thing and take a knee, and then a questionable fumble call. Then we get to Boston College. Same defensive issues. If you want a clinic on blocking, look at that Boston College game again. Boston College, again, like Bowling Green, I'm not saying they're Bowling Green, but like Bowling Green, a team that is not more talented than us, that we should be able to handle, especially at home. offensively, they have decent running backs, good offensive line, and a really good quarterback. And they were able to really run their offense at will. Our leading tackler, I think, was effort tied with 13. I think I've struck in his name from my memory now. Mola. And then, like, the next three leading tacklers are defensive backs. Oftentimes when we go look at these clips, our defensive backfield is the first to make contact with the running back. One, because our defensive line is being blocked so thoroughly, getting turned, opening up holes, and our linebackers are out of position. I mean, there's one play where it's 4th and 1. They've got 4,000 linemen, and just their quarterback's going to run up the middle. He does. He bounces it outside. He's 15 yards downfield, and Mola's still trying to drive through his block when the quarterback's 15 yards behind him. I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can be that bad. And that was the story of the game. There was two. I'll have to count. That might have been the play we had 10 players out there. And that's another thing. You know, there are, I've talked about on the live show, a plethora of just fundamental problems with this team, particularly on defense, where on defense, it starts with linebackers not being able to identify the ball, being out of position, and being blocked, taking out of plays. By the time they identify where the ball is, they're either blocked and taken out of the play or the ball's behind them. And it's not acceptable. And we don't often call out players, but I'm telling you, Mola's the worst offender. And it's frustrating when you hear him in post-game press conferences. You hear coaching staff say, oh, this guy's such a leader. And then he steps up and says, oh, he needs to step up and be a better leader. Well, one of the best ways to be a leader is lead by example and make some freaking plays. Yeah, you had that fumble strip against Miami. That was 2 weeks ago, though. That was last game. Didn't show up for this game. Offensively, as I've said on the live show, by the way, we give up 560 yards to Boston College. That's the other thing. Yeah, we've got the three touchdown underdog road wins now under Key, but Boston College is the third time we've been favorited at home and lost. I don't know what it is. Offensively, 3 turnovers, 3 picks by Haynes King, put the ball on the ground twice, where we ended up recovering it, which Key talked about. And, you know, now there's new fundamental issues. One, we talked about having 10 players out on defense. And let me back up and talk about that. You know, we're doing this Chinese fire drill, trying to get the right players in for whatever their offensive set is. And Tantor talked about it. Like, now these, you know, like Biggers and these heavies are running 50 yards every third play to get on and off the field, so they're gassed. We have about half a second to get lined up before they snap the ball. Like, can we sort that out a little bit? Just keep the guys out there. Harvey was making plays all night. I agree with Tantor. He should have been out there all night. He had several fantastic pass breakups. He had one of the best interceptions I've seen in a while at Bobby Dodd, where he just goes up over the top of a player on the middle of the field to prevent a score. Not only does he prevent the score, he secures the ball. I still feel like sometimes as a coaching staff, we're trying to outsmart ourselves. Kid makes a bunch of plays, needs to be out there. You know, I don't get it. So now, like I said, we have all these fundamental issues. Now we have like new issues. Let's talk about offensively. Talked about the 3 turnovers. And I've said I think we just honestly had a piss poor offensive game plan. For whatever reason, we like to run between tackles up the middle. And that's kind of the biggest, though I think our offensive line is okay to pretty good. We still struggle run blocking and pushing teams off the ball. We got pushed around on both sides of the ball in this game, rinse and repeat. That's kind of the story with each one of these games. But our weakest point is like knocking people off the ball, running between tackles. And we're going to see when we run off tackle, when we try and get the edge, that's when a lot of things happen. That's when Haynes King had a lot of yardage on the ground, pulling the ball, getting around the outside. We scored a touchdown off of it. Jamal Haynes wasn't even touched. And Boston College, knowing that, just said they were going to blitz all night. Probably every other play, they blitzed 2 linebackers. So they came with 6 a lot of the time. And most of the time, all we had were downfield routes that were 15, 20 yards or more downfield. So we didn't have time to get the pass off. Why don't we have like drag routes, slant routes, dump off flats to the running back? When we did do those things, we scored. I hate to admit it. This staff and team makes adjustments as poorly as really any team I've seen in a while. Once another team secures their game plan or makes any adjustments, man, we just struggle to get anything going. And look, I think that's just the mark of one, we have a lot of young players on this team. We have a lot of players that transferred that haven't played with the staff before, and 90% of our staff is new. I think the only people we retained were obviously Key, Chris Winkie, Andrew Thacker, Tillman, and that's about it. And there's going to be growing pains involved, and this is just part of it. I've said on the live shows, I think we've reached the low as far as years. Like, it could get worse this year from here on out. If we play like we did against Boston College, we'll lose every game. We won't win another one. We'll go 3-9 this year. But as far as year to year, I think this is the low point, and I think there's a lot better in the upcoming years. So, with that being said, let's go look at some of these clips and see exactly what went wrong, what happened. Okay, let's start off with the defense, and let's start off with some positive. So, this is the play where Harvey got the interception, and here's the other frustrating part with the defense is that they were able to throw for 230 yards against us, which wasn't great, but they were able to be really efficient with it. A lot of those yards came on pivotal downs, and most of the time, they just sacrificed blockers for route runners. This is a two route concept. Now, we end up coming up with it, but a lot of the times when they threw on us, there's only 2 or 3 routes and really only 2 places, a read, a second read, and run. Simple but effective for Boston College. It's weird here, though. This is like a screen with just a go on the bottom of the field here, and it's one of the few times that we get pressure on them, but they're kind of running a screen concept, kind of a weird play. You see here they engage blocking. They kind of have like this screen dump off. Maybe it's not a screen, but just a dump off route. He still has time. We'll get a little bit of pressure. Like I said, one of the few times we get pressure all night. And Harvey just makes a super athletic play and comes up with it. I mean, look at this. 50-50 ball. Now, honestly, this ball should have been thrown closer to this referee. If he did, it probably ends up being a touchdown. But he doesn't, and to Harvey's credit, takes advantage of that mistake. This ball's not thrown in the right spot. and comes up with it. Now, here's the curious thing. Like the next defensive series, he's not on the field. So Key talks about having the best guys on the field. You know, why are we not doing that? Again, I think this is where we're just outsmarting ourselves. I'm not going to go through all of these plays, but let's look at 2 critical downs. First, I need to count how many defensive players we have. All right, we have 10 players on the field here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'll tell you, this is a 3rd and 1 critical down. I'm assuming one of the people who aren't on the field is a defensive back that's supposed to be out here. In fact, it's got to be. And this is going to be a little 3-route concept. Let's see. I won't draw them all, but this tight end is just going to leak out here. I think the running back comes across, and then this guy runs across en route. And it's really a broken play. This is what's so dang frustrating. From the start, running back goes the wrong way. Play fake is to the ghost man out here. No one's there. You know, we basically bring everybody. Still can't get any pressure. And that 10th or that 11th man not being on the field results in a touchdown. And look, this is the start of the 4th quarter. We're up 23-17. And we decide to run 10 people on the field. Absolutely unacceptable and freaking embarrassing. We've still got 3 timeouts. Why did someone in the booth not notice that? And like, if you don't know, there's like 10 people that have access to talking to Key in the headset. And as far as I can tell, because if they did say something, I'm sure Key would have called a timeout. Which means not one person said, hey, there's 10 guys on the field. You think maybe we need to call a timeout, Donald? Wide open. Touchdown, Boston. Or it doesn't end up being a touchdown. They score, I think, on the next play. I don't understand it. You're not going to overcome that. Another pivotal down. I think let's see if we've got 11 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this time we actually do have 11 on the field. All that's going to happen here is number one's going to try and run it up the middle. It's not there, and he bounces it to the outside. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Oh, he doesn't bounce it to the outside. That's another play. It's even worse. He just runs right up the middle, virtually untouched. And you know what? Good on Harvey. He's making an effort to get there. He's making an effort to tackle the guy. I mean, from right here, we can't get him down between there and the end zone. Now, here's the amazing thing. Same play. Let's pay attention to Mola. Look at him. The ball's already behind him. And he's still fighting to get in the backfield, baby. He don't have a freaking clue that this guy is on his way to scoring. He's still trying He's still trying to get in the backfield to the ghost man. Boy, that's awareness, isn't it? That's elite level awareness. Look, he's still trying to get back there. Legend has it, Mola's still trying to get in the backfield to this day on this play. Wholly unaware the ball carrier has already scored. Let's look at some runs. Thankfully, he's not on the field here. It doesn't end up mattering, though. I think this is just a run straight up the gut. Yep. Great block here. Look at this. Linebackers turned. Look at all this room, baby. All this room right here. Gone. Good effort on Brooks to at least prevent the score. But here's the thing, folks. Not going to win many football games when we make the offensive line look like the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line. I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is 100% textbook. That's how you give up 21 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. Let's look at this play. Same verse, same as the first. Virtually the same play. Great blocking. Get the guy turned, get a guy pulled. I mean, look at this. First person to make contact is Jalen King, defensive back, who comes all the way from the other side of the field, I believe. Yep. Not good. Not good. This is the last defensive play we'll look at. It's just a two-man route. It's just a two-man route. No pressure. All day to throw. I mean, I could watch the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy in the time he has to throw, and then start on the Hobbit trilogy. And my initial thought was, well, he had all day to throw. They can't cover forever, can they? Also, missed tackle. But it's just two routes, guys. It's just two routes. That's it. Right here and right here. And we can't cover it. Great throw by Castellanos. And like, I hate to sound fatalistic, but just watching this defensive tape, I'm like, I mean, I don't see this. Why would I think this is going to get any better? Yeah, I get that it was a long time to cover the guys, but there was only two. And you've got like 4 defensive backs to cover 2 guys, and we can't do it. All right. We'll leave the defensive plays on a good note. This is where they're going to run this reverse trick play, and Jalen King comes fired out of a cannon and makes a tackle. So we'll leave it on a good note. Great play by King there. Lord knows we need a lot more of that. All right, we'll start off on a good note with the running backs, or with the offense. This is something Tantor said that I agree with, of running like a one-cut system. Here, we just make one cut, get upfield, good. Now, it is between tackles. One of our better running plays here. We started rolling going into the half. I I mean, we did a lot of good things offensively in this game. It's just the 3 picks really undid a lot of it. All right, here's a good example of, I talked about we struggle to run the ball between tackles. Here, we run off tackle, and Haynes kind of bounces it out and is going to score. And he's not even going to be touched. They're so committing to rushing upfield, blitzing up the middle, and Haynes just gets around it. No one touches him. I don't know why we don't do more of that. All right. Now, I talked about they were blitzing most of the night. And most of the night we didn't have any check down routes. I mean, look at everyone they have on the line of scrimmage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I think they even bring somebody else. Yeah. They blitz 7 here. You've got 5 offensive linemen. You're not going to block all of them. And then we're just going to throw the flat here to the running back. Why do we not have a check down route like that in every passing concept that we have, or every passing play that we have? A lot of stuff over the middle was working. Well, and the other thing that I think would help to simplify things, I think King, instead of having, 4 or 5 routes every time, with Haynes King, there needs to be a primary read, a secondary read. If that's not there, take off and run. Bam, bam, bam. We don't need to dance around the pocket and wait for things. No, just simplify it there. Because in this game, look here. It's counterintuitive, but a lot of times running straight into a blitz can work if you can get around it. Like, they kind of over pursue it. Haynes steps up, makes a nice play, makes a tackler miss, and gets upfield. Like, I think just having Haynes kind of be a purely passing quarterback that only runs in emergency situations needs to change too. Like I said, I think it needs to be one primary read, secondary read. If that's not there, just take off and run. Don't even think about doing anything else. Now, this is a play we scored on. Kind of a screen. We kind of hit blocks here. Boyd's gonna score. Going to score off the throw here. Middle of the field was really good for us all night. And I don't know that we ran Boyd out on many more plays. Like, this was a game that was a very physical game that we needed more beef, even at wide receiver. We needed a lot more stronger wide receivers in here. It's going to lead to a pick. The only pick that wasn't Haynes King's fault was due to that, just getting pushed around at wide receiver. So let's look at the 3 picks, and then we'll wrap it up. Where are they? First one. Is this the first one? Yeah. Now, here, let's pretend he's over here so we can see the route. We're going to be running a comeback route. So this ball needs to be thrown toward the sideline. The mortal sin here would be throwing it at his numbers or anywhere behind him. You can't do that. This ball either has to be thrown incomplete toward the boundary or toward the boundary complete. It cannot be anywhere near the defender. And this is one of the throws that both Key and Haynes were trying to make it out like it wasn't his fault. We're going to get a better angle on this. I mean, just fantastic play by the defensive back. But this ball it either should never have been thrown or it should have been incomplete, thrown nearly out of bounds. So where does the ball need to be? It needs to be somewhere over here. Where's the ball thrown? See when it comes in. Okay. So right here, this is where the ball is. This is where it needs to be. It needs to be over here or further out toward the boundary. This is 100% Haynes King's fault. Let's look at the second one. Okay. So when we have this stacked wide receiver set, it's either going to be the screen they throw where the running back just steps back, catches it, and gets upfield, or I think they run a wheel concept off of it. So they'll run like a post and then this guy out. Now, I can't really tell here because they both end up in the exact same area, which is never good. Offensively or defensively, you don't want two players in the same spot, especially, defensive backfield. Haynes King has time here. He was pressured some throughout this game, but for the most part, he had time. He steps up in the pocket, throws awkwardly, so he's kind of throwing off the run off of his back foot and just throws an awful ball. Awful ball. I mean, we just cannot have this. Really, I'd rather him throw the ball here. We have this route here. Can we put the ball in this area? I mean, I guess he was beat, but that ball has to be thrown way up here. It's just a horrible underthrow. And an unforced error. It wasn't like he was pressured or anything like that. Just bad throw. Bad underthrow. Let's look at the third one. This is the only one that is not Haynes King's fault. I think this is Malik Rutherford. He's going to run the slant. And he takes himself out of the route. So instead of I don't know another word for it, but being tough and making sure you're in front of that defensive back, he just lets the defensive back step in front of him. You can't do that. Allow the contact, fight to get to your spot, and if he plows over you, it's a pass interference. The thing you can't do is what happens here. So he comes here, there's some contact, and then he just kind of willingly goes behind the wide receiver or behind the defensive back for no reason. Easy pick. Easy pick. But like I said, this is the pick that's not his fault. I think that's Malik Rutherford. I mean, you can't just, okay, yeah, I'm just going to go behind you. No biggie. It's a slant route. Fight for your position. So anyways, I won't beat a dead horse. This video is kind of long as it is. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm down. I'm not really on my A game as far as making videos. But I guess to conclude, if we're going to win another game this year, I mean, that's kind of what we're down to. We got North Carolina coming into town. I'll do a preview for that tomorrow or Thursday. I'm sure Macho Wreck will make an appearance. We've got to be much better at linebacker. Much better on the defensive line. Basically, we're going to have to do things that we hadn't necessarily done all year against a fantastic top 10 offense. led by Drake May. And then offensively, like, we can't keep making these mistakes that we just looked at. You know, we can't turn the ball over. I think we need to really sharpen our game plan up offensively better. And I think we need to simplify things on offense some. So let me know what you guys think. How do you feel about the game? How do you feel about us moving forward? I have a feeling I know. And y'all have a good one.